So, police were executing a search warrant that had to do with stolen items from an FBI vehicle, including a firearm and FBI access badges, among other things. The problem? It looks like police were supposed to go to an apartment unit with an address of 2926, the unit above the one they went to by mistake, 2928. If police are executing a search warrant, and one they deem very dangerous, as they obviously did here, then they better double check and make absolutely certain they're going to the correct place. And maybe some cops were just following orders of others who said, yeah, this is the right place. I don't know, but even if that was the case, that's a BS excuse to me. If you're ready to use lethal force and go into the most sacred of places, someone's home, just on a common sense level, you better confirm individually for yourself you're going to the right place. This could have ended very tragically, with someone possibly not being alive anymore. And look at the state of the house after the botched raid. To say this is a huge inconvenience is an understatement. And do you have any idea how long it's going to take to sue and try to get some restorative justice here? Not to mention the psychological trauma of having your personal space violated. There needs to be an investigation for criminal charges here, because lawsuits never do enough. There's no meaningful deterrence for this. This type of thing keeps happening more than you'd think. Generally, and depending on the specific crime and state, it's possible that something like a reasonable mistake of fact could be a defense for some crimes. But how reasonable do you think this was? As more information comes out, we'll find out more. Was this due to a reasonable mistake or to something like recklessness? Maybe there's some mitigating context here for the police, but based on everything I've seen so far, it doesn't really look like it. But we'll have to wait and see to be sure, I guess. Maybe there'll be a lawsuit in the future that will reveal more information and details. And as a side note, for some crimes, even an unreasonable mistake of fact can be a defense, but off the top of my head, it seems doubtful that would really be the case here for most of the potential crimes that I could think of in this situation. It looks like the addresses are labeled with the floor numbers. I'm not sure if police would have seen this area that the picture is depicting when entering, and maybe the floors are those weird half floors or something that make it confusing which level is 2 and 3, etc. And it kind of looks like from this picture, the address ending in 26 is to the right here, so maybe that also led to the mistake, as they thought the whole building was that address, and they were confused what inside was part of that address. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of the situation charitably for police. Notwithstanding, like I said before, when the stakes are this high, you need to have some prudence and do some investigation and checking before raiding the wrong apartment. Especially because if cops are concerned about safety and moving to the unit fast, then wouldn't they want to, for their own safety, make sure they're not at the wrong unit? Otherwise, the correct unit could have someone dangerous, unwatched, and able to launch an attack. So, if police were to claim they needed to move fast, and that's what led to the mistake, I reject that argument. Who knows exactly what they did? Maybe they had cops watching all the units at the same time, or maybe, like I said, they thought the entire building was one unit or something, but again, this overall seems like a potentially unreasonable mistake, especially if they could have seen those mailboxes from the entrance. But like I said, I'm not sure if that's where they entered the apartment complex, but it seems like it probably was. Who knows what explanation the police will ultimately give, if any.